Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to another GameMaker tutorial. Now, today we're going to be working on the 3D Mage RPG game, and I'm excited for today because we're going to add in kind of our spell selection menu and how all that's going to work, and we'll also show the player's health bar on the screen. So, if you want to, you can go check out my GameMaker book in the description. And I've gotten quite a bit of really good feedback on that. So many of you who are subscribed to me have already heard that before. But some of you may be watching this video for the first time and you don't even know who I am. So be sure and check that out. But let's get in and get started. So let's work on the menu selection first. So we're going to duplicate our fireball. Not the menu selection, the spell selection. Call this sprite. I don't know. Ice spell. And we'll go in and change the color of this. I mean, this isn't really necessary. I'm just doing this for a visual representation. Whoa. Okay, replace. There we go. Got our ice spell now. And we're going to go into our scripts and we're going to duplicate the fire init spell. And we're going to call this ice init. And pt global dot pt ice. And instead of the shape being explosion, we can do snow. Well, actually, yeah, we'll just leave it as snow. And we'll do sea white. See, which color was it? Not teal. Fuchsia blue, aqua, maybe? Is it aqua? I don't remember what color that is. Yep, it's aqua. Okay. If you middle click on anything inside of here, it's going to bring up the help file, which is really useful. And then I'll do C, I don't know, maybe blue. Let's just see what that looks like. White, aqua, blue. Okay, we'll leave everything else the same for now. Oh, this should be not fire, but ice. Sweet, now let's go into our particle system. Make sure and initialize the ice particle and destroy the ice particle in our destroy event. PT ice, just like that. Okay, and let's see. Let's duplicate the fireball, and we'll call this object spell parent, and we'll drag this up above the fireball. And inside the fireball, we can delete the step event. Well, what was our step event? Oh, it just creates particles outside the room. Destroy, that looks good. Okay, yeah, delete the step event. Well, yeah. Actually close out of it. We don't want to delete the step event. Just delete the outside room. And in our create event, this looks good. Okay, we can actually get rid of some of this though. We can get rid of the direction. Yeah, just get rid of the direction and then up here do events inherited. So we can inherit from, we're going to inherit from the object spell parent cool. Duplicate the fireball again. We'll call this object ice spell, and we'll inherit from, we'll give it the ice spell sprite. We'll inherit from sprite fireball. Let's make this one take longer to charge. So instead of an alarm of 10, let's do 20. Let's give it a speed of 10. And in our step event, we're going to get rid of the spark particles. And we're just going to do PT ice. And make sure it inherits from the spell parent. Now let's go into our player. And nope, it's not in the player, it's in the player's stats. Change this global.spell to object ice spell. I must not be creating, go into the player now, this time for real. Into the step event, fire the fire spell. This should be firing not object fireball, but global dot spell. Yeah. Now that should work. Okay, you can see we can fire the ice spell now, which actually doesn't look too shabby. That's awesome. Okay, so we've added another spell into the game. We've got 2 spells now. They inherit from spell parent, which is going to come in handy later on because we're going to want to give them a damage and stuff like that. And we'll want them to inherit the functionality for running into an enemy. Most of them are going to just damage the enemy, so we want to inherit that functionality. So let's save this, and we need to create a new room. So create a new room. Call this, let's see, our other one's called room 1. We'll call this room spells. And make it 640, 640 by 360, because I like that resolution for pixel art type games. Is that what our other one is? The view, I mean. 640 by 360, 1280 by 720 port on screen. Perfect. So we're going to go to views in our new room. We're going to enable the use of views. And we're going to do 640 by 360, and then 1280 by 720 right there. That'll just make sure that it matches up with our other one. I'm going to do, for now, I'm just going to do a background color, and it's just going to be kind of a gray color that's kind of blue-purple, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I'm just making this up. Let's make it not green. Teal, a little darker. That's fine for now. I get so picky about this type of thing. I'm just gonna make it gray. Wow, it's like the same color as this over here. That was not intentional, but that's kind of crazy. It's not probably the same color. It looks to be maybe just a little bit darker, but still it's close. Great. Awesome. Now we've got a spell room. We're going to want to make sure we'll handle that in code. So come in and create a new sprite. We're going to call this sprite button. And edit the sprite. Let's make it, I don't know, 32 by 32 is probably a fair size. And I'm just going to make it gray for now. And let's duplicate this one and get Let's make a lighter version for the second. That is not lighter. It's barely lighter at all. There we go. So we've got 2 frames, one of them's dark, one of them's a little lighter, and this is our button. Now let's press OK and add a new object. We'll call this object button parent. Well, let's call it spell button parent. Probably if you're gonna build an entire game, you want a button parent that has basic functionality that you want to inherit, but for now we're just gonna do this. Okay, let's add an event, create event, and we'll want to initialize the button and set its image speed equal to 0. That will just prevent it from alternating between the 2 images. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to add an event. We'll have it be a mouse event, and we'll call it mouse enter. Set the hover image, and we're going to do image index equals 1. Did I do image speed in the first thing? I think I did. Yeah, okay. So we're going to add another one called mouse leave. Mouse leave. You can do this in other ways, but I'm showing you how to do it this way because this works too. Set the non-hover image. I don't know. Image index equals 0. Okay. Our player needs a button to press that's going to take him into the spell room. For now, we're just going to put this spell button in here. And then we'll need a button that will switch out of that room as well. So let's not put it on the player though. I think we made our particle system persistent, which is going to be an issue. We might have to make sure and clear all the particles from the room when we switch to this room. There are cheat ways around it, but player stats are persistent. Let's put it in the player stats. Yeah, we'll put it in there for now. Okay, add an event. Let's do a key press. Let's see. Actually, first go into our create event, and we need to keep track of the last room we were in. Last room global dot last underscore room. Is there already a last room variable? Room last. Yeah, there is. Sweet, we don't need to keep track of that. I almost forgot that that was there. You can keep track of it, but we don't need to. So add event, key press. Since we've set up our controls to use the WASD keys, I'm going to use the E button to take us to our spell room. So let's do letters E. So when they press the E key, what are we going to do? Well, handle moving to and from spell room. So if room current, is it room current or just room? It's probably just room. Huh, I didn't know you could access the room caption and stuff like that. Let's see. It's just room. If room does not equal room spells. no, spells. There. Then we're going to go to that room. Else, we're going to go to the last room. Room, go to room last. Here we're going to do room persistent equals true. So when we set room to persistent, this makes sure that GameMaker remembers the state of the room that we were in before. So it kind of pauses that room. So we need to set it to persistent when we go to the spell room, and when we come back from the spell room, we're going to set it to persistent equals false. And I don't remember if we can just do it after this or not, or if we're going to have to do it inside of the room. Actually, we can probably do it here. Equals false. We'll try it. If that doesn't work, that's okay. So after we set it to persistent, we want to go to the spell room. Go to room spells. There. That looks good. Let's see if it actually works now and run the game. So we're here, we're firing our ice spell. We press E, boom, we're in the spell room. When we hover over that, it goes that color. If we press E again, and no. We put this in the player's stats, right? And this is persistent. Did we put the player stats in here? Yeah, we did. Okay, we're going to give the player stats an image. I'm just going to make it the red fireball. And we're going to run the game again. This way we can make sure that this object is following us into the next room. You can see our stats object there. And it is following us to the next room. So it is persistent. The problem is that it's not going back to the last room. And we need to figure out why. So let's make sure this isn't, that doesn't have a sprite anymore. Come into here. So we're setting room persistent equal to true, which is good, I think. Let's comment it out real quick and just make sure that isn't the issue. What this will do is it will alternate between the rooms, but it won't save the state of the last room. If it doesn't alternate between the rooms, which it doesn't, that means that the persistence isn't the issue. So that's good news. So room go to room last. Oh, this isn't the last room that we were at. This is the last room in the game. That's why. I should have remembered that. I almost guarantee it. You guys are probably laughing at me. This is a read-only variable which returns the index of the very last room in the game. Aha. Okay. So we do have to keep track of it. So instead of doing room go to room last, do room go to global dot. Is there a room previous? Maybe. That's. No, that's not it either. That's a function that takes you to the room in the order here. Man. They just don't have anything when it comes to rooms. Yeah, we're going to have to keep track of the last room we were in, but I'm not sure what to call it now because all of these are horrible names. So let's do global dot. Let's just call it the global dot room previous. That just makes the most sense to me, but that's gonna, we can't use that because GameMaker likes it. Global dot previous room. room level, whatever. We'll call it global dot room level. I don't really like that name. I might change it in here in just a minute. Okay, so we do need to keep track of it. So actually in here we need to, before we go to the spell room, we need to set global dot room level equals room, which is our current room. And then inside of our player stats, we need to create a global room global dot room level equals no one. We can just set it to no one for now because we'll be setting it during the game. So let's run that. And you can see now that we should be able to switch here and then press E to switch back. And as you can see, it saves the state of our game. We can fire this, switch back, boom. Oh good, no issues with the particles. Well, that made that easy. So now, cool stuff happens. And let me show you why. Let's create a new object. We'll call this object fireball spell button. Okay. We'll just leave the sprite for now, what it's at. And we'll delete these two events. And we'll also just get rid of this right here. And replace for events inherited. And then we're going to do spell equals object fireball. Okay? Awesome. And we actually need to add that into our parent as well. So go into the parent, do spell equals object fireball. And we need to add a new event to it. We're going to add an event called a mouse. We're going to do a left pressed event. We're going to set the global spell. Global.spell equals spell. Now we're setting it just to, let's see. Change spells. So we're setting it to our our instance variable called spell. In this case, it's going to be the fireball because that's what we've got set in the create event. But in another spell button, we might have this equal to the ice spell or some other type of spell, the flamethrower spell. But this doesn't care what we've got it set it to. It just automatically sets whatever that was into the global spell, which changes our character's spell. So that's really, really cool. In our fireball spell here, I'm going to do image, just for testing, blend equals C red. Okay. And make sure that this inherits from the spell parent. Now I'm going to duplicate it, and we're going to call this object ice spell button. Now come in here, we don't want this to be the fireball spell anymore. We want this to be the ice spell. Okay? And let's do C aqua here so that the spell button looks different as well. Now we come back into our room spells. We can get rid of this one. And let's set our fireball spell to be the first one and our ice spell to be the second one, like that. Okay, and this doesn't look super nice yet. We'll kind of work on that in a minute. But it'll work. It'll work. So currently we have the ice spell. That's awesome. Now when we press here, we've got two options here. We can choose the ice spell or the fire spell. So let's select the fire spell, switch back, and now we should be firing the fire spell. We've switched. We can press this button again, and look, that one, you can see some of that one. I know why. It's the location in the room. That's why we weren't having issues before. I knew we would have issues with that though, so that doesn't surprise me at all. Because because particles are persistent, so they're going to show up in the next room. So if I'm over here and I fire a particle, boom, it's going to show up in this room before it disappears. So, but we can switch back to the ice spell and fire that off. And we now have a spell menu that we can switch to and switch between spells. So probably what I'm going to do, I don't want to spend a lot of time working on these spell buttons right now, just because you guys don't really want to see that. This isn't a Let's Pixel video, so those are on Thursday, not Saturday. But I'll probably do a little bit of work in improving these for the next video and just kind of show you guys what I did, just to improve the graphics of them. So from here, what I want to do is, I'm not sure how long this video has been. We might not have time to do the players' draw the players' stats on the screen yet, because that's going to be a lot of work in itself. Let's just try and fix the particle issue that we're having. The cheat way to do it, let's I'm actually not, I don't have an idea of how to fix that right away in my head, so I might be kind of winging this. Oh yeah, there was something else that someone told me to do in the comments, and I don't remember your name, but it was something that I should have thought of, but I didn't think of it because, was it in here in the draw GUI? No, that just draws the frame rate. Well, maybe I don't remember where it is. Huh. Yeah, it might have been in another tutorial video. I get comments confused. There's so many of them now. I try and read you guys' comments. And I'd like to respond to all of them too, but I've been busy with the book, so I haven't been able to respond to all of them because I've had to be writing instead. Sometimes it'll take me 2 or 3 hours to answer comments, and that's quite a while, so I need that time to finish this book up first, and then I'll try and get caught up on comments again. So let's just try and fix the particle issue. We could destroy the particle system, but that doesn't make sense. Let's add an event in our particle system, because this is persistent, so it'll carry between the 2 rooms as well. Let's do another event, and I think there's a room. Oh, there's a room start event. It's not necessarily a room changed event, but it's a room start event. What we might want is the room end event, because once our one room ends, but does persistent trigger that? I don't know. Let's test. So destroy the particles. Particle part system clear global.ps. I don't even know if this will work, honestly. I haven't tried this, so we're gonna find out. That's kind of part of what's fun with this. I don't know that I've ever even used that function before, particle system clear. Let's fire a spell here and boom. Oh, that worked like a charm. Oh, perfect. I love it when that happens. You're programming and you're like, I'm gonna try something new, and it works perfectly. That was so cool. So apparently we can just use a room end event, because the room is ending. Even though it's persistent, it still fires the room end event. And then we can just do particle system clear. And that clears the particle system, so we don't have to have the carryover into the next room. So I think this is a good spot to stop the video. I know I just don't want it to go too long, and the next section is going to be a long section. So, but now we can switch between our ice spell and our fire spell. If you want to, you could make clicking on this automatically take them to the next room again. There needs to be some sort of feedback that that's the selected spell. Actually, let's do that before we stop this video. Let's make sure there's some sort of feedback that tells them that that spell is the one that is currently selected, and I don't know if I'm keeping that rune persistent, so I'm not sure. I'd have to make it persistent in order to remember which spell was selected. We've set the global spell, but I don't want to go through and check each object to see which one's been selected. We will have to make it persistent in order for it to remember. Yeah, I'm going to do that in a different video. That's going to be a lot of work too. Not a lot of work, but it'll be a little bit of work, and it's just not worth the time right now. So you can switch spells, and it works perfectly. The particles don't bleed through anymore. Oh, that's just awesome. Sweet. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe, and share it on Twitter. A lot of you guys have been sharing my videos on Twitter, and it's just really cool for me to see that you guys enjoyed the video enough that you'd like, your friends and followers on Twitter, or share it on Facebook. I don't get notified when you guys share these on Facebook, but I do when you share them on Twitter. So, but I really appreciate those shares. And it really helps me when you guys like and favorite and share these videos, because YouTube doesn't always pop these up in the search results, and so sometimes there are good tutorial videos that just go unnoticed because YouTube doesn't show them. So because they don't have some sort of key like keyword, like a keyword that's really popular, kind of a trigger word, a buzzword. You know what that's like. During certain points, videos go viral because of buzzwords. So, okay, I'm just talking now. So, once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk with you guys later.